Maybe you guys have heard of George Santos, or maybe you've heard of, what is his name? Anthony DeVolder. One of those guys. He's apparently skirting some of these things he's been caught up in, his lies, how he got himself into Congress, but there's more coming because the dude just can't help himself. So George Santos is now, I guess, not being believed for a situation with his niece, apparently a kidnapping. Very serious story. We just don't know where it lands. Representative George Santos recently told a New York Times reporter that his 5-year-old niece was kidnapped from a Queens, New York playground. A quote, high-ranking police official, however, told the same publication that the incident was likely made up. Likely made up. I wonder why it's only likely. We'll see. Because Santos dialed up reporter Grace Ashford, and she originally wrote the initial Santos expose for the first time in September of 2023, just last month. Several other one-on-one calls reportedly occurred between the two in the weeks after, where at one point, he said that he and his husband have, quote, have had to defend themselves after they began receiving threats post-publication from the expose, I suppose. So along with mentioning one previously reported incident where someone phoned him to say they were going to bash his head in with a bat, he alleged he's also received a different kind of threat. This is about the niece. So the niece was at a playground before suddenly disappearing, only to be found 40 minutes later via security footage alongside 2 Chinese men. By the way, is this a threat or is this a kidnapping? One of the threats was that she was kidnapped. That's no longer a threat, that's action. Anyways, continuing, Ashford added that Santos heavily implied that the alleged kidnapping was due to his own prior statements, because of course it comes back to him about the Chinese Communist Party. And he said the following when asked if he thought that the Chinese government was behind it. Look, I don't want to go into like conspiracy theory, is what he told the New York Times. But you know, if the shoe fits, right?
This guy watched Rush Hour late one night and he came up with this story the next day. I swear to God, he was like, you know what? This is a good story. I'm going to mention this tomorrow. What?
Those things where you see someone do something that's like creative, like, oh, I wish I'd have thought of that.
Where's the little girl? What little girl? I'm sorry. Listen, so I hope no little girls were harmed.
Exactly. I was totally gonna reset and say that if a little girl was kidnapped, no one is joking about the kidnapping of little kids. But look, this unnamed police chief or high-ranking police official, graphic 4. New York Times reporter Santos spun this tale into this to the police contact. They asked him this as well. So that high-ranking police official confirmed that officers had been called and looked into that incident. But they found no evidence of Chinese Communist Party involvement.
They didn't call Jackie Chan. They didn't call the private detective.
It's a shame. What are you gonna do? What are we doing here? So again, this is for more sympathy, more, I guess, stories of him being this above level figure who isn't a liar constantly. And again, if this is true, I'm glad they got her back.
Doesn't appear to be true.
About these 2, foreign figures that came into New York and decided to take someone's niece. Oh, George.
He's the boy who cried conspiracy. We're not buying it, dude. You're kind of just stop. The narcissism of this guy is through the roof. It has to always be about him. Yeah.
But he gets upset when reporters follow him and say, "What are you lying about this week, George?"
Well, the truth is, he is the Chinese little girl. Wait, it was a Chinese little girl, or was it a little girl?
His niece.
Okay, he's the little girl that got kidnapped. He was dressed as a little girl. He got scared, and then now here we are. I don't know. I really hope there was nothing that happened. There's nothing worse than children getting hurt. I mean, that's very scary, and that's even more egregious to make something up if it is in fact made 100%.
Up. And lastly, by the way, he mentioned he and his husband. I still don't know how the Republican Party, with all of their principles and how much they hate gay folks, still haven't pointed out how much they would hate him. Maybe because
they're pro-life gays, so they're okay. They're okay in their book.
Until some of their foot soldiers go on attacking folks.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.